awesome it is to find the aces.
Re-raise up to 30,000 total.
First 4-bet of the match from Tom.
Yeah.
That we've seen.
Yeah, and he's got aces. And he's picked a good time to do it, too. Sammy almost can't help but lose a lot of money here.
I mean, this obviously a cooler, but is it an automatic re-raise here for Sammy?
Oh, but if you're going to re-raise anything here, you're going to re-raise ace-king. There's maybe an argument to be made for just calling the 4-bet with all the hands you want to continue with. But if you're going to be 5-betting anything, you should probably be 5-betting ace-king.
113,000 total.
And that's about half of effective stacks. He's pretty much effectively moved all in. He's not going to fold if Tom shoves.
I'm all in. Cool.
Yeah, he calls immediately. He knew he'd commended himself there. And you can't blame him. Getting 250 big blinds in with ace-king is really pretty standard in a heads-up match.
Nice hand.
Just horrible luck to have run into aces here.
It's a complete cooler, and this is going to be the first huge swing of the match.
King?
486,000 in this pot, and
unless they run out of chop.
Oh, spades, but no. 8-9?
That's what Emmy's asking for. It's almost there.
4 or 9.
8 outs to chop.
God, he almost kind of pull for it for all things to be even, huh?
So close. Got a feel for Sammy here. There's nothing he can do.
Oh, how painful. And, I mean, you have to take a long view here, but when you're playing No Limit Hold'em, things like this, they never even out, do they?
No, not really. I mean,
not in one lifetime.
Yeah.
245,
Yeah, especially in...
257. Yeah, should be total.
It's not like you're playing 501k heads up all day, every day.
Oh, of course.
And after a real back and forth battle here, Sammy is stuck 250k on brutal cooler.
I mean, aces versus ace-king. Could it have gone another way? I don't think it can go another way once Sammy decides to make the 4th bet up before the flop. I think that's once he decides he's not just going to call the 30, he's going to raise again, then there's no getting away from it. He's put half his stack in, and even if Tom has kings, he's still got the odds to call when Tom goes all in because he's getting 3-1 and he's only a 3-1 underdog. It's only if Tom happened to have 2 aces. You know, if he has queens, it's 50-50. If he showed up with ace queen, or, you know, he's a favourite, Sammy, so he has to call. Once the action goes, it's just a huge call in. It's really unfortunate. If it goes the other way around, we'd see a different game, but now I fear the worst for Sam.
Yeah, I mean, this is a question here. Sammy actually came up to me straight after the pot and said, how can I get away from this? And I think the only answer is, don't make it 120,000. You know, once he's done that, he's got to put the rest of his money in. I guess when it's 30 and it's back to him, if he sort of does something a bit defensive and sort of makes it 77 or something, see how Tom reacts, have a think about it. Now he can just about make an excuse to fold. But that's pretty weak poker, and weak poker doesn't really cut it heads up. Ace-king's a big hand. I think he's got to put the pressure on, and once he's there, he knows it doesn't look good for him, but 3-1, you can't throw it away.
I also think that Sammy wants to get involved in a coin flip situation against Tom. He knows Tom is a better player, and if Tom has queens or jacks, it's a definite spot that he's been looking for. So, you know, you don't want to make it 77 and then fold against your great chance to win a 50-50. So, all in all, I think that in this situation, there's just no way that Sammy should fold or could fold.
Right, I mean, Dwan's not getting 250 big blinds in before the flop with ace-king, but Sammy should be looking to.
Well, I think Tom is perfectly capable of getting it in with queens before the flop for 250. You know, maybe even ace-king.
It's hard to see Tom turn over. If you're Sammy and you've put the 120 and now Tom says the words all in, you know you're not looking at ace-queen here. You're never looking at ace-queen. You're not looking at jacks or tens very often. It is going to be one of the big 4 hands. But it could be ace-king, you know, so it could be ace-king, ace-king. He can't fold. It's just one of those situations.
And he is stuck on Moonga.
I mean, there's not really much you can do with that ace-king there. Versus some people, maybe you wouldn't get in that many big blinds, but versus me, I think you're supposed to just about every time there because I play pretty aggressively pre-flop. So I don't think he has much choice other than to get all the money in there. I'd play 2 queens the same way every time, and I'd play, you know, ace-8 suited that way some of the time. So I think he has no choice but to get all the money in there and just hope it works out. And for him, it didn't that time, and for me, it did.
As it went, he had aces and I had ace king. It's something pre-flop a lot of heads-up players can't get away from. You know, I didn't leave myself much fold equity anyway, so what can I do? You know, it went in and that was it.
There is still plenty of action to come from this challenge. Does Sammy get on the defensive?
I didn't feel it.
Will hunger prevail?
I could eat a cow.
The game reaches a critical point for Sammy and E2 after the break.
When we get up and say goodbye, then it's bad news.
If I had 500K, I wouldn't get
Back to the full tilt poker Durrrr $1 Million challenge, and wow, Isaac. I mean, what do you tell yourself if you're Sammy? What will he tell himself?
What you should tell yourself is there was nothing I could do. I had ace king, he had aces. But after such a big pot, it's really tempting to beat yourself up, look for ways it could have gone differently, reasons you should have known he had aces.
Are you a firm believer in it's not the big pot, it's how you play after the big pot, or is that just what they say?
I mean, the big pot makes a pretty big difference. He's got some work to do to make up for that. But it's certainly up to him whether it goes downhill from here or not.
Good little comebacker for Sammy here. The ace wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary board, though. I think he'd rather not hit that card, so he's more likely to get another bet in from Tom.
3 minutes before trying to bluff you after that hand.
And yet again, Tom makes a fold on the river.
3 minutes is enough, but
I think Sammy should be looking for spots to bluff Tom on the end.
Yeah, that would really tilt me even more.
I'm not sure Tom's called a river bet from Sammy yet.
It's a very interesting point. Not that I can recall. What else do you see in these stats as they're evolving?
They're actually holding pretty steady relative to the last couple times the screens popped up. Tom continues to be the more aggressive player with the number in the low 80s to Sammy's number in around 65.
That Tom has won 42 pots pre-flop. Sammy's only won 27. Does that sort of mean that Sammy is sort of just giving up in the big blind more often, or
I think the single biggest thing that indicates is that Sammy's folding his button right off more often.
Right. And this has gone check on the flop. Durrrr now, very nice turn card.
5,000.
I mean, if you're Sammy, do you feel like the 7 or 10 could have been good if you got that, or it just doesn't matter?
So long over 6,000.
I think I would often take a stab there in Sammy's spot. He's got the gut shot. Either of the pair outs is pretty likely to be live. You gotta wonder if he picked something up on Tom, either just from his tendencies or from something physical he saw there. He did a good job getting away from what could have been a spot where I probably would have lost a bet, if not two.
I mean, Durrrr is a guy who is considered such a good technical player.
Yeah.
What do you think, as far as him playing live, what do you think adjustments he's making sort of for tells and that sort of thing as far as watching Sammy?
I wonder.
You know, how do you find it with yourself, someone who really started playing on the internet as well?
I've definitely had to make a very conscious effort to not give things away when I play live. I have started only in the past year or so to get in the habit of playing very methodically, taking the same amount of time on all my actions, trying to make my movements as mechanical as I can. And Tom is pretty good about that too. He takes his time, though he always tends to act pretty quickly. And
this has been an interesting pot. Durrrr bet the flop. Sammy led the turn.
Kings.
Oh.